Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here, returning to you this afternoon for the Tuesday album review, for the final Tuesday album review, and I do have a little announcement to make after the end of this video, or probably at the next video or something, I'm not sure, but to get right into it, we're getting to the Season 6, Episode 22 for Red, Release the Panic, the fourth studio album in Red's discography that I'm going to be reviewing that came out in 2013. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for Red, Release the Panic, and let you know my thoughts on this final episode of Season 6 Tuesday album review. So let's dive into this album review this afternoon. Now it starts with the title track, Release the Panic, which in my opinion is a pretty strong track. It is a little radio friendly for sure, but it does sound really good with the execution and how Michael Barnes is screaming, and his gritty vocals sound really good in this track. So I'm really digging this song, and this is a strong 5 out of 5. Then comes Perfect Life, the next track. Sorry about the background noise, my nephew just got home from school. So basically, Perfect Life was pretty good in its own way, but I had a few critiques with this, with how Michael Barnes' vocal range was sounding from time to time. There were some moments where he played with his vocals a little too much, and it just, I don't know if it's structured very well or sounded really good execution-wise, but overall, pretty good song in its own way. So 4.75 out of 5. Die For You is a pretty good one too. I do dig this track for how it sounds. And with the execution, I think Die For You did have some electronic work that they tinkered with this track. But overall, it's a pretty good song with the catchy beat and everything. The auto-tune and the electronic work does take over for this track. So 4.75 out of 5. Give me a second, I gotta pause the video real quick. Sorry about that, I had to let my sister's cat in my room real quick. He wanted in my room for a second. Sorry, I'm just calling him over here. So pretty much Damage is the next track. It's a pretty good song, but it does rely on the screaming a bit too much, which is a good thing, but it's just structurally, song kind of has too much repetitiveness with the chorus a little too much, so I'd have to give this a 4.75 out of 5. Pretty good song, just have my critiques with some of this track. Same Disease is the next track. Pretty strong track. I like Michael Barnes' vocals in this track. His clean vocals sound really strong in this one. And execution-wise, this is one of my favorite songs from this record. One of them. So, 5 out of 5. Hold Me Now is a really nice track. A very nice melodic ballad song about someone that's struggling with depression or whatever. So if you're going through suicidal or depressive thoughts, definitely call the suicide hotline. They can help. They've helped me for sure. This song definitely depicts about the mindset of someone that's going through and struggling with depression or suicidal thoughts and all that. So this song was a big help for me when I got out of high school and all that, so it helped me. It can definitely help you. So 5 out of 5 for this track. If We Only is a pretty strong track. I like Michael Barnes' screaming vocals in this one, and just the execution of the drum work and guitar work is pretty good, and overall the song has a good chorus that's very memorable for sure. 5 out of 5. So Far Away is pretty good in its own way, but I had a few critiques with this one. With it relying on the chorus a bit too much and sounding radio friendly in a way, so it's fine. It's not one of my favorite tracks from the record. So 4.75 out of 5. Glass House is the second to last track before you get to the closing track for the regular edition, but overall it's still structured pretty strong. It's just it has a little bit of moments where I'm not sure if I feel for the track with how Michael Barnes is singing it, but overall it still sounds good. So 4.75 out of 5. The Moment We Come Alive is the closing track for the regular edition. and it is one of my personal favorite tracks. Very memorable for sure. A good song to actually, like, basically celebrate life and all that. And, basically, I think this track really brought a lot of positivity to a lot of things that people may face during their days, their darkest days, but there is a lyric that says, "We're the light that will never die. This is the moment we come alive." So, basically, I really love that lyric in the song. Michael Barnes' vocals are outstanding in this track, and this was one of the best performed tracks that I've listened to off this record. 5 out of 5. Love Will Leave a Mark. Pretty good song, but it relies on the chorus. Some of these tracks on this record tend to have repetitive choruses, and they're not terrible. They just, I don't know if they succeed or fail, but it's just iffy. So I'd give this a 4.75 out of 5. It is short for the runtime, 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but execution-wise, it's fine. As You Go is the closing track for the deluxe, if you don't include the extra tracks that I'm going to be including. It is the 12th song on the deluxe edition, and it is a pretty strong track for 4 minutes and 15 seconds. I found it to be enjoyable for the runtime it was going for. Very melodic, very mellow, and really nice melody to it as well, so 5 out of 5. Hymn for the Missing Guillotine remix. This one was decent, but not one of my favorites. It was between mediocre and decent, but I'd give it a 4 out of 5 because at least Michael Barnes singing in the background was pretty good, but it relied on the EDM stuff a little too much, and I don't know if I could feel for that. It kind of got a little ear-grating in a way. A little ear-grating in a way, but it's not terrible, so 4 out of 5. Death of Mean Guillotine remix, the 14th track on the record, is another remix by Guillotine, I think. But overall, it's decent as well. There are some memorable moments and some that are not so memorable, but it's a 4 out of 5 for me. Michael Barnes' singing was the only standout for the song. The EDM stuff, kind of a little over excessive in a way. Overutilized in a way. Track 15 is the closing track officially for the deluxe edition of Release the Panic. Breathe Into Me Remix Acoustica. It's an acoustic Breathe Into Me song, a little bit remixed in a way with the fading echo sounds and all that, with how he says when I throw myself away and all that lyric. I think this track was pretty strong. For a remix acoustica track, it sounds pretty good. So it's a good closing track to end this record for Release the Panic for the 54 minutes. But overall, I think Michael Barnes' vocals in this were outstanding, and the acoustic guitar work is amazing in this, so really dig this track. 5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution-wise, would I say this is as good as Until We Have Faces? Not really. I think Until We Have Faces is the best record I've listened to in Red's discography. Mostly, yeah. Because this one is average, but it has its weak points and weak tendencies with the execution of certain tracks and just the repetitive choruses that kind of repeat itself a little too much excessively. Like, you get a short verse, you get the chorus, short verse, and another chorus. So it's just, the replay value for this is solid, but I wouldn't say this is one of my favorite albums of Red's discography. So it's not one of the worst, but it's average. So if I were to give Release the Panic by Red a score, I'm feeling an average score of a 7.5 out of 10. Average record. Definitely check it out, see what you think of it for yourself. I think majority of the regular edition was fine, but then it squanders when you hit the deluxe edition. Like, some of the tracks kind of flop in its own way. Not all of them. It's just the remix tracks are the ones, like Hymn for the Missing and Death of Me. Those were the ones that I felt played it a little too safe and tried a little too hard. They were kind of try-hard tracks. That the EDM stuff didn't work for those songs. From time to time it worked, and other times it didn't. But overall, 7.5 out of 10 for Red Release the Panic for this final Tuesday album review. I hope you enjoyed the season finale for Red Release the Panic for the Tuesday album review, season 6, episode 22. And I'll have the best songs of October, best and worst songs of October 2024 coming out tomorrow or so. But until then, you guys take care this afternoon, and thank you guys for watching this Tuesday album review today.